The hidden prayer that moves dimensions. Christ's lost chant broke the laws of reality. What if I told you that for 2,000 years, we've been fundamentally misunderstanding prayer? What if prayer isn't about asking for things from a distant God, but about accessing a hidden technology within you to become the reality you desire? What if Jesus didn't just teach us what to pray for, but left behind a vibrational key, a lost chant that could literally bend the laws of reality? It sounds like science fiction, I know, but stick with me. This is a journey into the heart of mystery, backed by history, linguistics, and even quantum physics. I remember being a kid, hands clasped so tight my knuckles were white, praying for something that felt absolutely life or death to my 10-year-old self. And the silence that answered, it wasn't peaceful. It felt empty. It felt like I was talking to a wall. That feeling of being unheard set me on a lifelong quest, not away from faith, but deeper into its most forbidden corners. I had to know, was there something more? Was there a power we had forgotten? That question led me to the sun-scorched sands of Egypt, to forbidden texts buried for centuries, and to the original, untranslated words of Jesus himself. What I found was not a different religion, but a deeper dimension of it, a science of the soul. Today, we're going on that journey together. We're going to uncover the secret prayer that doesn't just petition the universe but commands it. By the end of this, you won't just see prayer differently. You might just see your own power differently, too. Our story begins in 1945, near the town of Nag Hammadi in Upper Egypt. A peasant named Muhammad Ali Osman, digging for fertilizer near a cliffside, strikes his tool against something hard. It's a large sealed clay jar. Thinking it might contain gold, he smashes it open. Inside, there's no treasure, just 13 leather-bound books, their papyrus pages brittle with age. He didn't know it, but Muhammad had stumbled upon one of the most significant discoveries in religious history, the Nag Hammadi Library. These weren't just any books. They were a collection of so-called Gnostic texts, a library of alternative Christian thought, hidden away nearly 1,600 years earlier to protect them from a new emerging Orthodox Church that had declared them heretical and ordered them destroyed. This wasn't just an archaeological find, it was the moment a suppressed spiritual history, a different vision of Jesus and his message, came back to light. And the crown jewel of this discovery was a text that begins with a tantalizing promise. These are the secret sayings which the living Jesus spoke and which Didymus Judas Thomas wrote down. And he said, "Whoever finds the interpretation of these sayings will not experience death. Not whoever believes, but whoever finds the interpretation." This is a call to active seeking, not passive belief. And what are these secret sayings? They're a complete paradigm shift. Take saying 3. Jesus says, "If those who lead you say to you, 'See, the kingdom is in the sky,' then the birds of the sky will precede you. If they say to you, 'It is in the sea,' then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you." This is radical. The kingdom of God isn't a place you go to when you die. It's a state of consciousness you realize while you're alive. It's not out there, it's in here. And the path to it is self-knowledge, he continues. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. But if you will not know yourselves, you dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. Poverty isn't a lack of money, it's a lack of self-knowledge. This is the foundational Gnostic principle. Salvation isn't a reward in the afterlife. It's the realization of your own divine nature, right here, right now. The journey isn't for the faint of heart. Saying to warns, "Let him who seeks continue seeking until he finds. When he finds, he will become troubled. When he becomes troubled, he will be astonished, and he will rule over the all." This path will shake you, but it will also give you dominion over your own reality. But how do we walk this path? Another Gnostic text gives us a map, not in the form of philosophy, but as an epic story, a myth about the journey of your very own soul. Her name is Pistis Sophia, which means faith, wisdom. She is a divine being, an eon, living in the higher realms of pure light. But she sees a greater, more intense light far above her, and in her desire to reach it, she looks down, away from her source, and falls. She falls from the 13th eon, her home, into the chaos of the lower worlds. Here she is tormented by beings called archons, ruled by a figure named the Self-Centered One, a powerful representation of the human ego. His chief emanation is the lion-faced power, a symbol for raw, consuming egotism and passion. This isn't just a fairy tale. The Gnostics saw this as our story. Pistis Sophia is the human soul, trapped in the material world, entangled in the passions, fears, and delusions of the ego. She has forgotten her origin, her light, her power. She is us, trapped in the darkness. She does the only thing she can. She remembers the light, and she begins to cry out. But these are not cries of despair. They are 13 powerful repentances, and in the Gnostic tradition, these aren't apologies for sin. They are powerful soul-aligning chants. They are declarations of her true nature. One of these chants, recorded in a related text, goes like this: I am the forethought of pure light. I am the thought of the Virgin Spirit, who raises you to a place of honor. Arise, remember that you have heard, and trace your root, which is I, the compassionate. With each chant, the foundations of the lower realms shake. The darkness cannot hold her. Her song of remembrance is a vibrational key that allows the light of the transfigured Christ to pierce the darkness, find her, and guide her back home. The Gnostic Gospels gave us the blueprint, the kingdom is within. But the story of Pistis Sophia gives us the emotional journey. We, like her, are souls who have fallen into the poverty of forgetting who we are. And our way out isn't through begging, but through a powerful vibrational act of remembrance. A prayer that doesn't ask, but declares. A chant that realigns us with our true source. But what does that chant sound like? For that, we have to leave the Gnostic texts of Egypt and travel back to the tongue that Jesus himself spoke. For centuries, we have read the words of Jesus through layers of translation, from his native Aramaic to Greek, to Latin, and then to English. And with each step, something essential was lost. Not just meaning, but power. Scholars like Dr. Neil Douglas Klotz have spent their lives uncovering the world that existed inside the Aramaic language. It wasn't just a way of speaking, it was a way of seeing reality. Unlike our modern languages that tend to separate things, me and you, spirit and matter, God and humanity, Aramaic was a language of unity, of non-duality. In Aramaic, the word for truth, Shara, also means a light that shines from the heart to guide your way. The word for good, Tava, doesn't mean morally superior. It means ripe, in its right time and place, like a piece of fruit. And the word for God, Allah, is not a male king on a distant throne. It's a genderless word that means sacred oneness, the source, the ultimate reality that breathes and vibrates through everything. When Jesus spoke in this language, he wasn't just giving lectures. He was using words as vibrational tools, as sonic keys to unlock states of consciousness, and the gospel writers, even in their Greek translations, seemed to know this, because in a few, very special instances, they preserved the original Aramaic words, as if they knew the sound itself was the magic. The first chant is a word of opening. In the Gospel of Mark, Jesus heals a man who is deaf and has a speech impediment. He takes him aside, touches his ears, and then looks up to heaven and speaks a single Aramaic word, Unfettered. The text immediately translates it as be opened, but the metaphysical meaning goes so much deeper. It means be unbound, be liberated. This isn't just a command for the ears to work, it's a spiritual command to the man's entire being. It's a chant to shatter the internal walls that cut him off from the world, from connection, from the divine flow. It's a prayer to break free from the bondage to the self, from the spiritual and emotional paralysis that keeps us trapped and isolated. Ephatha is the chant that opens the soul to receive grace. The second chant is a word of awakening. A synagogue leader named Jairus begs Jesus to heal his dying daughter. By the time they arrive, it's too late. The girl is dead. Jesus enters the room, takes her by the hand, and says, Talitha Kumi. Again, Mark gives us the translation. Little girl, I say to you, get up. But let's look closer. The Aramaic word Talitha is a term of endearment, meaning fresh, new, tender, like a young lamb. Metaphysically, it refers to the soul, and Kumi means to arise. Jesus isn't just resuscitating a body, he is speaking directly to the dormant soul. He is calling forth the divine spark, the I am consciousness within her, to awaken to a new, higher realization of life. Talitha Kumi is the chant that awakens our own sleeping divinity. It's the command we can speak to our own potential when it seems lifeless. Soul, arise. Unfettered opens the channel. Talitha Kumi awakens the receiver. But what is the message? What is the frequency we are meant to tune into? This brings us to the master chant of creation, the prayer that Jesus gave his disciples, but stripped of its mistranslations and restored to its original Aramaic power, the Lord's Prayer. What we've known is a prayer of supplication. What Jesus taught was a prayer of co-creation. Look at the difference. Our Father who art in heaven, we've interpreted this as praying to a male king in a distant place. But in Aramaic, Abun Debosh Maya means O Bertha, Father Mother of the cosmos, whose light and sound vibrate through all creation. hallowed be thy name. We've seen this as reverence for God's name. But Nethkadashmak means focus your light within us, make it useful. Help us breathe one holy breath, creating a sacred space inside. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. We've interpreted this as waiting for a future kingdom and submitting to God's will. But Tete Makuta Newitsavianich means create your reign of unity now, through our fiery hearts. Let your will and ours become one, a divine cooperation. Forgive us our debts. We've seen this as asking for forgiveness of sins. But Washboklon Kalbane means loose the cords of mistakes that bind us, as we release the strands we hold of others' guilt. Lead us not into temptation. We've interpreted this as asking to be protected from external evil. But Welatolan Lonasuna Elapatsan Minbesha means don't let us be seduced by surface things that cause us to forget our true purpose. Free us from unripeness, for thine is the kingdom. We've seen this as ascribing power to the distant God. But Meetal Dilaki Malkatha means from you is born all-ruling will, the power and the life to do, the song that beautifies all, from age to age it renews. Do you see the shift? The Aramaic prayer isn't a petition, it's an attunement. It's a physics formula for creation. It starts by acknowledging the universal, vibrating source that is both within and without us. Then, it directs us to create a sacred, coherent space within ourselves. From that space, we are empowered to co-create a reality of unity now, not wait for it. It's about untangling energetic knots, not begging for pardon. This is the technology, but how does it work? How can feeling and sound actually shape the world around us? For that, we turn to the cutting edge of science, which is just now beginning to catch up with this ancient wisdom. For a long time, the bridge between spirituality and science seemed impossible to build. But now, pioneers are showing us how the mystical experiences of the past can be understood through the lens of quantum physics and biology. Author and scientist Greg Braden tells a powerful story of meeting with a Native American elder. He asked to see a prayer, and the elder replied, "You've never seen our prayers. You've seen the things we do to create the feeling. The feeling is the prayer." This is the pivotal key. The power isn't in the words you recite. It's in the internal, biological state the words help you generate. Scientists now call this heart-brain coherence, when our thoughts from the brain are aligned with our elevated emotions like love, gratitude, and joy generated by the heart. Our bodies enter a state of powerful biological harmony. Our heart and brain beat in a synchronized rhythm, creating a powerful electromagnetic field that radiates out from us. This isn't New Age fluff. This is what the ancient mystics were doing. The Hesychasts, the Christian monks of the desert, developed practices of prayer of the heart. They would repeat the Jesus prayer, "Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me," while synchronizing it with their breath, focusing their attention on their heart to achieve a state of inner stillness, or his Ikea. They were creating heart-brain coherence thousands of years before we had the instruments to measure it. This coherent inner state is the engine. But how does it affect the outer world? This is where things get really interesting. Quantum physics tells us that at the most fundamental level, the universe isn't made of solid things. It's a vast, interconnected field of energy and potential. Everything that could ever happen, every possible reality, already exists as a wave of probability in this field. The Gnostics called this the pleroma, or fullness. Greg Braden calls it the divine matrix. It is the kingdom that is both inside and outside of you. So if all possibilities already exist, how does one become our reality? Through the famous, and often misunderstood, observer effect. The observer effect states that particles in the quantum world exist in all their possible states at once, a superposition, until they are observed or measured. The act of observation collapses the wave of potential into a single, definite event. Now, here's the secret. The observer doesn't have to be a scientist in a lab coat. The observer is consciousness, your consciousness. When you are in that state of heart-brain coherence, feeling the feeling of your prayer as if it has already happened, you are becoming a powerful observer. You are focusing your conscious and energetic attention on one specific potential in the quantum field, and your focused observation commands that potential to collapse into your reality. This is why most affirmations fail. If you stand in front of a mirror saying, I am wealthy, but you feel the anxiety of your bills, the universe doesn't hear your words. It hears your feeling. It hears your vibration of lack. And so you are powerfully praying for, observing, and creating more lack. The prayer must be felt in the present tense, as a reality that is already true. As Jesus says in the Gospel of Thomas, It's about finding the interpretation, the inner embodiment of the sayings. You have to feel the healing in your body, feel the love in your heart, feel the abundance in your life, before it manifests. This is the unified technology. The Gnostic Gospels give us the map. Know yourself, for the kingdom is within. The Aramaic chants, Iffatha, Talitha Kumi, are the sonic keys to unlock the door, to create the state of heart-brain coherence. The Aramaic Lord's Prayer is the master frequency we attune ourselves to. And the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the act of conscious observation that collapses a wave of infinite potential into a single, miraculous experience. This is the hidden prayer that moves dimensions. So, what is the hidden prayer? The lost chant of Christ. It was never just a string of words, it's a state of being. If this journey of discovery has awakened something in you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What part of this resonated most deeply? And to continue your own exploration into these profound truths, you can find the link to my books in the description below. Thank you for being here, and for being open.